I thought I'd tell a little bit of a story, if that's okay.
Yeah, totally
All
do.
right, we tell a story.
Yeah,
So
I like that.
this is an actual, no names, but this is an actual client that is very recent. Just spoke with them over the past month or so, and reached out. Said we think we may need some financial planning as a family, and I was like, oh, this is great. We're already getting the family involved because I think that's very important. We talked about that a little bit on the last podcast episode we did. But I said, well, great, let's chat. And we had a very quick, it was a 15-minute meeting just to start to see if it made any sense at all. And I could tell right away that the kids were actually more concerned than mom and dad were, and
Mhm.
what it was is that was they're in the sandwich generation, right?
Yep.
They're talking about having kids, getting married, and all this other stuff, and mom and dad are getting older, and at some point they'll need long-term care and whatever. So it's like you've got to take care of your family, and you you also have to take care of mom and dad, make sure they're okay as well.
Yep.
And so then I actually went over to their house. We had a great conversation, just sort of going through everything. Well, it turns out they thought they had done a great job of planning, right? A couple things. So they bought into the idea that I need to take Social Security right away. So the dad, the patriarch, had started taking Social Security even though he was still working and very healthy. And mom is not old enough to take Social Security yet. And so they're right away where I was like, well, we can, and people think once you make a decision on Social Security, you can't change that decision.
Hmm.
So that's not true. You can change that decision. Okay. You got to do it in a certain way within the rules, but you can do it. So we're going to fix that, right? Because if he's taking Social Security while he's working, he's paying 85% of his Social Security is being taxed at his tax bracket, which in this case is around in the 20s.
Hmm.
So he's just not getting the benefit of it, and he could
Right.
get more benefit by deferring it. And again, he's quite healthy. So that was just one thing, right? The other thing was maxing out a 401k over and above the company match. So we talked about how could we make some of that tax-free income. Another thing we talked about 2 episodes back
Couple
on
weeks.
the
Yep.
podcast. And so as we talked more about that, and since he's of an age where we don't even have to worry about some of the more complex tax rules, he's 59 and a half. So the idea of taking a distribution, rolling that into a tax-free asset that will be tax-free in retirement, we're going to start doing that. Right. So we're making all these adjustments. And then when we really started talking about it, they're concerned, right? Because they don't feel like they have enough to retire. They don't have a lot in, say, 401k assets. They don't have a lot in retirement fund assets, but they have a business. We started calculating everything. We found out that although they're not necessarily living like it, they have multiple millions
Mm.
in net worth. It's fantastic, right? But here's the thing that I think so many people get a little bit wrong, right? You cannot spend a business. You might be able to take some
Right.
cash flow,
Right.
right? But you can't spend it until you sell it. Do you want to sell it? What kind of tax implications would that bring? Is it protected in a trust? There was no estate plan at all. That was actually the first thing we did before we did anything or talked about anything in terms of financial planning. Let's get an estate plan here because we have a lot to protect on the legal side of things, on the tax side of things, future planning for family. Another thing that could happen, they go to sell this business when mom and dad pass away. Suddenly they have this huge estate tax bill and everything's tied up in probate. They don't even have the money because they can't sell the business yet to pay the tax bill, and the family literally goes bankrupt. I've seen this happen.
Let me ask this before you continue, because I think this is the thing that really is curious to me is when they came to you and sat down with you to begin with, did they did they have any level of awareness of what they had and did now I know that they own a business and they know they have these assets and maybe, commercial property and some other things that are out there. They probably knew that they were there was a little pinch if it came to cash flow when it came to retirement. But what did they feel like they were stepping into when they had that initial conversation with you?
I I think there was an awareness